here. I do understand that we are supposed to be timely. At the same token, I do know that when you are bringing something to people, if what you're bringing makes biblical, natural sense, the people that's listening to you can get it. Man. If you go too far over their heads, all they'll say is he talked about God. If you don't say something that makes sense, they'll say he just wasted my time. Right. So I'm hoping that what I'm going to say is going to not only give you something to think about, but to let you understand that the work of evangelism is to deal with souls. And what I've come to the conclusion is that people don't want to deal with souls because there's a cost factor involved, time and money. So when you decide that I'm going to win souls for Christ, it's going to cost you some time, and it's going to cost you some money, and most people don't have neither of the two. So as a result, our churches come to the conclusion, which is what I'm going to talk about here, because I'm going to move quite fast, and I specifically did some things in order for it to help you stay awake, because I had what I call my 3-step message. The first step message is Tasha would bring the house down and I would take 5 minutes and sit down. Since that didn't work out, phase 2 is I go along with what I have here, cut some corners, and save everybody some time when we go home by 9:10. But phase 3 was that I hope the anointing comes in the words.
All right.
In the words I say, and y'all forget about the time, and y'all just try to give me at least 10 or 15 preaching minutes. Now, I'm sure y'all realize that preaching minutes are not normal minutes. They're like the minutes in the Matrix. You know, they move when things just move real slow, and everybody else move fast. That's the kind of minutes I'm looking for. So if things move real slow for you, but real fast for me, you don't worry about the time. So if you got your Bibles, you're going to need them. What I want to talk about is the Great Commission, which is something that I've been dealing with on Wednesday Bible class, but I'm going to do it in a message kind of thing because time is of the essence. When you think about the Great Commission, you think about, why do I go to church? If I'm not the musician, if I'm not the pastor, if I'm not some other key person in the church that has a specific title or position, what is left for you to do? Great Commission. If you have no specific title, and not that Tory can't win souls, not that the pastor can't win souls, but if the membership went out and practiced the Great Commission, the church would grow. Right. Yeah. Therefore, I was reading a book and I took some words from it. One of those words I took from it was called the autopsy. An autopsy is something you do after someone has died or after something has died, and you try to evaluate what caused its death based on medical practitioner cutting open an individual body and finding out what was the cause of death. In the process of a church, if a church cannot actually die, because Jesus told Peter, on this rock I will build my church, and the very gates of hell shall not prevail against it. Now I'm cutting some corners, and I know you know what that is in the Bible. Start the New Testament, you'll find it. So if the gates of hell cannot prevail against the church, then what are we talking about? I'm not going to use the word church so much. I'm going to use the word assembly. It is not the church that has failed. It is the people in the church called the assembly, which has failed to commit itself and to bring souls to Christ. As a result, the church closes or it gets foreclosed on. And right now in America, just to give you some idea of what's happening. And if you don't believe me, Google it. Third largest church in the world, the Roman Catholic Church. Between now and 2030, they will close 1,000 parishes. The Protestant group, I'm just talking about the largest, not individual, just the largest. The Protestant group has over 250,000 churches in America somewhere. They say right now 200,000 of those churches are losing 20% a year, and most of the 20% that's left are stagnant or doing nothing. They say by 2015 they will be out of business as a church group. Looking at right now, statistics have said that 3,550 people leave a church every day. 4,000 churches close every year. 1,750 churches are in foreclosure.
All right.
We need to pray. Therefore, what does that mean for us? I don't want nobody feeling to get hurt, and I don't want to dampen the spirit, because the spirit has already been here. You already felt the anointing. Now to get some information so I can keep my anointing coming, so when I come to church and knock on the door, what happened? They're not there anymore. What is happening in America is, since World War II, a third of the people stopped going to church. That's only a couple of decades. We're not talking long, long time ago. You might say, why is this happening? Turn to Galatians 3. Why is this happening? Why is people not wanting to go to church anymore? Why is people tired of going to church? Why does people feel like, I don't want to go no more. All they want is my money. Why? Well, if I go to church, I'm broke when I go back home. If I stay home, I can save some more money in my pocket. If I just watch TV, maybe they won't ask me for no money. Galatians 3, 1 through 3 says this: O foolish Galatians. Now let me put it this way. O foolish church people. Who have bewitched you? Who did this? Who has bewitched you that ye should not obey the truth? Before those eyes, Jesus Christ has been evidently set forth, crucified among you. Wasn't that long ago Jesus was crucified, and maybe some of those people heard about it, was witness of it. Paul was reminding them that what had happened, you were there, you saw it, but what's going on now? Who bewitched you? Who turned you against the truth? Number 2 says, this only what I learn of you. Receive ye the Spirit by the works of the law or by the hearing of faith. Meaning, you stopped following the Spirit of the Lord and you came up with your own spirit. 3 says, are you so foolish? Having begun in the Spirit, are ye now made perfect by the flesh? I have nothing against titles. I have nothing against anniversaries. I have nothing against church programming. I have nothing against dinners in the back of church. Chicken. I have nothing against apple pie. Take my shoes off and took off my toes. I have nothing against all that good stuff that goes on in church. But if 80% of your activity in your church is about raising money and 20% is about raising people, you'll have some money, but you'll have a broke church from a people position, not a broke church from a money position. You will have money in your bank account, but you will have 5 members, 3 of them your relatives.
Watch out.
That's what will happen. You'll be saying, God, you gave me money, but if I spend it on people, they will misuse you. You're probably right. But what is the Great Commission anyway? I give you 10, you give me 20. That's not the Great Commission. That's being hospitable, which is nothing wrong with it. When you go and help someone out there, you're taking a risk. The risk is you might get used.